I'm really nervous, and I've been waiting for this for so long.
What is this, like 3 years in the process?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, definitely. Hi, welcome to Young and Terrified. I'm Gati Somayan, and this is a strange moment. I've always wanted to have a podcast, and today is the day, and I'm here with my best friend of 16 years, Astrid. Hi, Astrid.
Hey, Kati, how's it going?
Good, and how's your last 24 hours been?
The last 24 hours, I have to say, have been very interesting. Last night, I went to the 3 Points Festival in Mana, Wynwood, because I've been waiting to see gorillas since I was like 12. And it's like a less extreme version of Ultra. Let's just say that. Like, I saw a girl dancing in a banana costume.
That's something.
I saw a fox furry, cybergoth rave dancers, and yeah, a bunch of other stuff. It was just, and a lot of acid, but normal stuff.
Did you told me there was like a cult there.
Yeah, I was walking around just to like see, because there was a bunch of different stages, and we were just walking around waiting for them to start, and I saw these two like guys dressed in like black cloaks, and they were kind of like folding their hands as they were walking, so I just kind of assumed that they were in a cult. I think they are. And first of all, where do I sign up? Because yes.
Honestly, like on the one hand, there's like it's kind of like a meme side of me that would like to just join a cult for the meme. That's what cool teens do these days. And were you young and terrified?
I was. Hey, I see what you did there. In fact, I was actually. I remember I was getting kind of anxious while we were waiting in the line, because the line to like get checked and stuff and get your bags checked was super long. And just seeing the people like getting out of like limos and like skipping the line, and A, that made me really mad. But B, I saw the girl in the banana costume in line. She was like 100 people in front of me, and that festival was not small either. There was easily like 15,000 people there, for sure, 100%. But the banana costume was really funny, and I don't know, that kind of eased my tension a little bit, but still young and terrified,
Yeah. Well, let's get on to the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Astrid, this podcast has 3 parts, and we are now moving into the second part of the podcast, in which we talk about what it means to be young and kind of terrified of the future. And I would like to start off by asking you, how do you cope with kind of the future being crazy and not knowing what's going to happen next? And like, what are you interested in?
I want to stay in the field of medicine, that's for sure. But that thought scares me a lot. The fact that I'm like in college for like 10 plus years, I like lie awake at night like thinking about that all the time. But I like cope with that just thinking like, at the same time, I have a lot of time to think about it and I don't. But I just want to deal with the experiences that I have right now. The word experience, that's my favorite word, I do one thing and it'll reflect on me in a good way or a bad way. And either way, I'll remember it in the future to come. So that's kind of how I deal with it.
Yeah, and I know you go to a lot of concerts. Like, as you were saying, you went to see Gorillaz last night. And you're kind of known in, like, our group of friends for going to concerts a lot. What concerts have you gone to? And do you have any concert tips and tricks that you can share?
Of course,
with the public?
I have a lot of concert tips and tricks, in fact. And I'll start off by explaining the first concert that I've ever been to. It was spring break, and I was 10. I was in 5th grade. And I went to a Big Time Rush concert in Universal Studios. And that was, I think that and a Marilyn Manson concert I went to a few years later were, like, crowd-wise, including 3 Points, very, very interesting. In the sense that, like, it was, like, more fangirls than One Direction, believe it or not. Because
really?
It's funny, that night, One Direction was supposed to be opening for Big Time Rush, and then I was seeing One Direction like 3 years later in a sold out BB&T stadium, That I found kind of crazy. But like, and I've been to the Pearl Jam concert, and Eddie Vedder is my father, so naturally I had to be there. And
this is public. Eddie Vedder could possibly, we can spam this to Eddie Vedder and tell him, hey, look, your daughter is on a podcast, just so you know.
Eddie, I love you, by the way, just saying, if you are out there. Anyways, I saw Pearl Jam, I've seen the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I've seen Smashing Pumpkins, and I'd say my biggest tip would be just, especially if you're going to like an arena, just kind of like it's different from going to a festival. For example, last night it's really hot. A bunch of people are out there to have a good time. So if you know that you're not somebody that likes crowds, do not go to a festival, and don't go to a Gorillaz like electronic festival, you know? And that's one tip that I recommend. Second, if you are in need of money for concert tickets or they're just too expensive, literally as soon as the opening act is starting, buy your tickets. Like, go to AAA, American Airlines, wait outside where like the ticket booths are and buy them there, or buy them on StubHub, because like, as soon as the opening act starts, the prices are going to drop like 100%.
Yeah, and like that goes for any arena everywhere. Like, just go standby. Do a standby concert. And I think also we're both fans of local bands.
Yeah.
And definitely check out your local scene. Mm-hmm. At least Miami's local scene is quite amazing.
Miami has probably one of the best, at least to my understanding, best alternative rock scene. 100%.
Shout out to
our boys Sun Ghost.
Yeah. Sun Ghost is a band that we're very passionate about. They are, what would you describe them?
I'd say like indie garage band type of thing.
Yeah, that seems fair. Yeah. Very much like kind of sun-drenched. They call themselves like sun-drenched rock or something?
Yeah, on their like bio, I think.
Yeah.
It's funny. They're honestly a band to go see, and then they're super, super sweet too when you actually meet them in real life. Like, or I mean, obviously you're going to be seeing them in real life. But like, they'll actually come and talk to their fans. They're super humble, very sweet, very personable too. So it's not like you go to a local band and they're like, oh, I'm amazing, I don't have to talk to anybody.
Yeah, no. I feel that local bands are much more humble.
They definitely are.
Acts. Obviously, yeah.
And I feel bad just because, like, let's say for the sake of the argument, like, Sun Ghost will get big, and I believe that they'll get big. I saw them last year this year in May at Sunfest, and literally they were playing the same stage as Weezer, you know? So it's crazy, the fact that they could be there, and the fact that I skipped school to be there was also very, very fun. But and I definitely believe that with the right type of positivity they can get out there. But you know, it's hard to see celebrities like once they reach like their peak of fame, you know, kind of see like the humbleness and the personality just kind of slowly fade away, which I don't believe that'll happen to them. But a lot of local bands will have the same it's the same type of like fame thing. You get your taste of fame, and then it's like, who's the rest of the world?
Yeah, definitely. And they're definitely a band that does have the potential for sticking around for a while.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They'll be around for a very long time.
Yeah, even if they don't get super big outside of the Miami scene, they're just so talented and creative, and I'm honestly very excited to see what they have next.
I believe that they honestly have a lot in store for them. And, like, yes, they're considered a local band, but they have a humongous following. Like, their following is huge. Every time that I've at least referenced them to someone, or I've say, hey, check this out, this band, they're great, and they're like, oh, I know a friend that like has told me the same thing, blah blah blah. They always have like that, oh, a friend of a friend told me about them, you know? So it's not like they're like, oh, them? Who is that? I've never heard of them. Like, no, they have a following, you know? And the last few shows that I've seen them, their crowds are humongous. Huge. It was jam-packed. I saw them at Lincoln's Beard a few months ago. Jam-packed. Like, the line was out the door.
Yeah. Well, also another local band we really like that I've gotten into recently, Polar Boys. Oh my God.
The Polar Boys are exceptional. They're definitely someone to check out, or they're a band to check out.
It's so like it's reminiscent of like almost 50s, 60s rock.
Yeah, the first vibe that I got from them was like surfer music, 100%. Like I could
Definitely.
literally be sitting at the beach and then hearing one of their songs, Barbados, like on repeat, just chilling in the sand, watching the water. Like that's my dream.
Yeah. Well, another thing I know you're really interested in is hair and makeup, in which
Hashtag not sponsored.
yeah. So I think maybe for the past 3 years at the very least, I know you've been very much into doing hair and makeup. And this summer you started kind of your own little thing called Astrid Braden Phase. Would you talk about that?
Yes, with the help of my bestest friend Gati doing the graphic design for my business cards.
I have a certification in Photoshop and Illustrator. Please hire me. Thanks.
So with that, because during the summer, I work at a summer camp and I see all these little girls, and I started doing one of their hairs, or no, I started doing their hair one day. They were like, "Oh, can you do a braid?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." And then ever since that first day, literally I've been asked to do like 6 girls' hair in like a span of like 2 hours. You know, I got fast fingers, so they're just always braiding. And I wanted to start this, if you would call it a business, just because I love doing hair, and I've been doing makeup for like around, Gati said, the past 2-3 years, and it is a hobby of mine, along with many others. But it's I like showing my creativity on a canvas like a face, you know.
That was very pretentious. And like, are you gonna get carpal tunnel someday, or like, what's that disease like with your hands because of the braiding?
Okay, I know I'm gonna get carpal tunnel 100% from all of this braiding, and then not to mention I'm a bowler too. I'm team captain of my school's bowling team, and I've been bowling for about 2 years now. And I have a 12-pound ball, and then with all, like literally by the end of the day, after like a bunch of braiding, my fingers, like I can't even move them. So like yeah, expect a carpal tunnel Astrid in the future, you know, which I took a medical terminology test a few weeks ago. I'm trying to remember like what carpal tunnel. I know what it is, but like carpals are your hands, and then metacarpals are your fingers. So it's carpal tunnel. I don't know.
It should be carpal tunnel. Anyway,
Anyways,
your hands are not gonna work in the next 10 years. That's something we both know for a fact.
yeah, I've accepted that fate already. That I'm gonna be walking around with like 2 robot hands for like when I'm 25.
Dude, the future is gonna be cool.
The future is gonna be cool.
Like, we're gonna have freaking robot hands, and just we can have like robot parts. At what point do we just not like? When do we become more robot than human?
That is the question, actually. That you just reminded me. I read a book, I was in 8th grade, called Unwind. And if you have read it, bear with me on this. I read it a few years ago. But to my understanding, like, okay, let's say you're a parent, and your spouse is like, oh, our son is acting up, blah, 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 and whatever. And he's not going to do well in school, and I don't really see him having a future. So basically what you could do is, if your child is from the ages of 13 to 18, you can basically send them to get like quote unquote unwound, and basically they like use your limbs for people that like need it. Like if you need like a foot transplant or something, they'll be like, "Oh, we have an unwind right here. Let's just take their foot and give it to this person."
Oh,
I don't know why I just thought of that, but like with robot parts. I don't know. The future's vast. It's big.
shout out to my boy Elon Musk. Let's propel this to the future. Let's propel us to the future. Anyway, I have another question for you.
Hit me.
If
Baby, one more time.
Stop. This is an abomination. It's the apocalypse. More specifically, a zombie apocalypse. Who is on your apocalypse team?
Bill Nye, for sure. Because if I'm in the apocalypse, I'm sure he can like find a piece of like steel or metal and be like, oh, if I put the right amount of heat on this, I can forge this into this kind of weapon. Or like, oh, I don't know if he knows a lot about like berries and stuff, but like, oh, scavenging, I know a lot about that, you know? These are poisonous plants. Do not eat these. These are regular plants. But like, I don't know. I feel like kind of have like a conspiracy theory about Bill Nye just because like he looks too nice and I don't trust that.
He does.
Tell me I'm wrong. He looks too nice, you know? I'm sure he's a great person like when you meet him, and obviously he's very smart according to his show, but like I don't trust that little like lab coat that he's wearing. Like he's got something up his sleeve, literally. Like literally. I don't trust him for a second, but I still have him on my apocalypse team though, because I feel like he would know how to do. I feel like he could work with the land.
Yeah.
And I just kind of follow, like, aye, Bill, all right, lead the way.
Anybody else on your team?
I was about to say Eddie Vedder, but like I love him, but like I don't think he'll be of any use to me in the apocalypse, besides telling me how I could be a better man and whatever, and how I'm such a yellow Ledbetter. But
I was gonna say about Bill Nye, I can imagine his lab coat is like in the wind, just waving in the wind. It's like broken and like burned at the seams. And it's just gone.
To those of you who watch The Walking Dead, I could totally see Bill Nye riding Daryl's motorcycle right now with a crossbow on his back, like 100%, and his like lab coat flying in the wind. I could see that happening. Now I'm trying to think who would be my second person on my apocalypse team. It would definitely be somebody like that has like strength, you know, like probably like Dwayne Johnson, because I feel like he's funny. I'm sure like as an actor like he's okay, but like I feel like he's funny. He went to shout out to and Dream School, and like he used to be like a wrestler or something, but he would do like glamour wrestling, but whatever, he's still strong. He's got them muscles, you know.
Astrid,
What?
when you put him on your team, do you know what he will say?
I'm scared to ask. What will he say?
What can he say except, "You're welcome"?
Got to get out. Leave the room now.
Moana's a great movie. Stop. I finally watched it over the summer. Oh my.
I saw the first half and then I fell asleep. Like, not because it was bad. Like, I just fell asleep. I was just tired. But it was the piece that I saw was actually really, really good. I was surprised.
Honestly, more than the story though, the music, my favorite thing about Moana is the water.
Yeah, the animations with the water I thought was like stunning. It was so pretty.
Yeah, like honestly, it looked very real, and I'm like, oh my god, how much money has Disney poured into this project? Because just specifically the water, because there is someone there painstakingly working for. I know nothing about animation, but there has to be someone painstakingly, or a team of people working for hours on that water. Or just like making something work, and then like imagine something just is not working. The sheer terror and sadness of like the deadline, just like, oh god, this is not gonna happen.
They've actually been getting really, like, the last few Disney movies that have come out recently that I've seen, the animation has been very, very, like, to a T. Like, they, like, dot every I on every single thing. And I started noticing this when I saw Monsters, Inc., like, about last year. And there's a scene in the movie, like, where Sully's hair is blowing, and you could literally see every individual strand of hair moving in the wind. And I was like, first of all, that's very soothing to watch. And second, I was like, wow, like, that's pretty crazy. Like, it's not the first thing you think of, but, like, I remember seeing the hair move, and I was like, that's incredible. Applause, Disney, applause. Wow.
So, on your apocalypse team, it's Bill Nye, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Who else? Is there anybody else, or is that about it?
Probably Martha Stewart. Just because, like, she could cook. Like, okay, Bill Nye can scavenge for food. The Rock could, like, fight off the walkers. I'm moderating everything and making sure everything is going as planned.
You with a clipboard?
It's like, all right, The Rock killed a zombie? Check. Okay, Bill found berry. All right, check. And then Martha could make like a cake or something. And then Martha's been to prison too, so like I feel like she knows like her way around. You know, like if we find like another like group of people like on the road and they'll be like, hey, give me all your food and supplies. Martha's gonna like shank someone and be like, no, actually, I'm in charge now. And then she'd like, doesn't she have like her own line of like bed sheets?
No, I think she probably does. I know she also has like a line of like Michael's art supplies, which is like extremely overpriced.
I don't like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I'm pretty sure she has her own bed sheet line. So like she comes prepared. I bet like she just has like 40 suitcases worth of just like bedspreads and like comforters and pillows and stuff. That's what I'm thinking. But either way, even if that's not the case, she'll still be useful to me. That's what I'm thinking. That's my dream team.
Okay, well, I hope you survive. I don't know. You might survive a month. I give you guys a month.
I think I'd give us like 3 weeks. Tops.
Hey guys, it's your podcast host, Kati Somayan here. Quick little announcements, a little bit of housekeeping here and there. For one, thanks for listening this far. This is amazing and it's been a dream of mine for the past couple years. So I hope you're enjoying it. And if you are enjoying it, you can find us in a couple links. There's a Twitter, Young and Terrified Podcast, I believe. If not, it'll be in the description either way. Second, we're trying to get a Reddit up, a subreddit up, where the people can discuss ideas and just discuss the podcast, and that'd be really cool if you would. Third, if you're on the podcast app, if you really like it, if you like it to that point, you can share it and you can give a review. Any review is a good review. Let's be real, guys. Just review. And if you're on YouTube, you can also share it and you give it a grand old like, a good old like, and maybe a subscribe. Who knows? It's the first episode. Anyway, let's get back to that episode and hope you enjoy the rest of it. So, see you there. Okay, we're back, and this is the final section of our podcast, my podcast, in which you happen to be on.
Oh, gee, thanks. Just kidding.
And I have a question for you. Where do you see yourself 5, then 10, then 20 years in the future? Go.
I have 2 answers to that question.
Oh, you do?
Yes, I do, actually. Well, my first, hopefully the most realistic answer will be I want to be a dermatologist. I want to work in that field. And if by any chance dermatology does end up going really well, I would love to open a restaurant. That is my dream. I've been cooking since I was like 8 years old, and I love it. I literally die for my cooking.
For your craft.
For my craft, yes. So that's my first answer. And my second answer, I was just telling you about this during the break, is since Halloween is very, very near and dear to my heart. And when I was younger, I used to want to be, you know how like during Halloween they have like the Halloween tapes of like door opening and closing, or like chattering teeth,
like
or
soundboards.
Like spooky sounds. I wanted to be the person that like made those sounds like with my voice.
With your voice?
Yes, like look, I feel like I do a pretty good door, like see?
That was actually kind of realistic.
Thank you.
Someone out there needs to like get that recording of you doing a door opening sound, and someone's gonna use it.
I'm not saying that dream can't happen. I'm sure it can, but I mean, if you want to sponsor me for doing those voices, let me know. I can be a human soundboard.
You surprise me sometimes, Astrid. You really do.
Oh.
Yeah. And about your restaurant idea, what type of food do you think you would serve?
I haven't actually figured that out yet. Just because it's funny, I always say my ideas on Pinterest, but I just kind of, I'm very versatile. Like, I don't really pertain to one style of cooking. And like, there's nothing really that I'm like the best at. Like, I love doing stir fry. I love doing seafood. I love doing pasta. It's all over the place, you know? So I haven't really found like that one thing that I want to be my trademark. But until then, you know, never stop cooking.
Never stop.
Never stop.
Never stop.
How am I supposed to eat?
Never stop on that grind.
Never stop.
Reminds me of that meme from was it this year? The one was like the student athlete one.
That was last year, I think. Like toward the end of the year.
Yeah. Anyway, it was one student athlete. Like, I'm a student athlete. It never stops. Like
the grind never stops.
It was like all these like emojis.
Psalms 410. What was it? There was like other ones too. There was like quoting something Bible related, whatever sport. Oh, like number 24, angry emoji face, praying hands, all that good stuff.
That could actually be a real one, not gonna lie.
I feel like I've seen that one lately.
Well, Astrid, it was a splendid time having you on the first ever Young and Terrified podcast. This is extremely surreal for me, as we've been friends for 16 years, and 3 of those 16 years I've been hyping this up, and it's finally happening. So thank you. Is there anywhere where people can find you? Look for you
on Instagram. It's at astrid.alexa with 2 A's at the end. And I don't really use any more social media. So yeah, that's pretty much, you can see all the concerts that I go to in the next while, you know. Oh, and I also have my braid and makeup account, astridbraid.n.face. I had to remember that for a second. You can also reach me there if you want to contact me for any bookings here in Florida. I don't really travel to like Georgia or anything unless you want to pay for my gas. Like, I'll do anything for money. But anyways, yeah, so you can reach me there. And Gati, I'm just proud that this dream is finally happening. I'm proud of you. Even when I like last year, I think you referenced this idea. Like, you had always said that you wanted to do a podcast when you started getting into them like a few years ago. But last year, I remember you pitching this idea like, hey, I want to have like friends over and like talk about stuff. And I'm like, I can dig it. I like it, Gati. And you know I'm always here. I live at your house anyway, so.
You do. You do. You take my snacks too.
Okay, but in a form of my payment is my friendship. And honestly, what more do you need of that anyways?
Yeah.
And I'm funny, so I don't see what the problem is.
Well, thanks for listening. Once again, if you'd like to give this podcast a rating, go do that. It really helps. And I hope you enjoyed it. I'm Kati Somayan, and this was Young and Terrified.